Namaskar, hello, and welcome to Be the Change. This is a special offering by the Brahma Kumaris social media team on the recent times that we have been seeing, the times that have changed. In several episodes of Be the Change, we have understood that we indeed are living in challenging times, and many of our friends have dealt with these challenging times with great bravery and great courage. But some of us have felt it that they needed some push or at least a little bit of positive guidance here and there. And the Brahma Kumaris have reached out to our friends where we could provide positive emotional support, provide spiritual wisdom and guidance wherever it is needed for. And all of you friends have reached out to us and you have opened your hearts to us. And you've been asking questions about anything related to life in general and what this time means for you. And every day we have a master of meditation who joins us and who provides us with spiritual guidance and wisdom. And not only they do that, they also provide us a live meditation experience where we can experience meditation with them. And today, we also have a master of meditation with us who is joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. Sister Indu is our source of spiritual wisdom today, and over many decades, she has been a teacher and student of Rajyoga meditation. And she will be offering the wisdom of Rajyoga to us. Indu, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bhai. Thank you.
Um, when we see these times, most of us have responded very well to them. We have responded
Mm.
positively. Some of us have felt, when will things go back to normal? So,
Mm.
how do you see these things, these changing times, from a spiritual perspective? How have you personally coped up with this? What are spiritual principles that guided you and they have held you strong?
Om Shanti. This question, I feel that somehow, I feel that these changes or this situation that we're all in, called lockdown, it's almost as if it's tailor made for our spiritual growth. And I think some people might find that very harsh, but I feel that in this situation, we all see to what extent. जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं, मैं एक दो शब्द हिंदी में बोलेंगी कि हम कितने तक पानी में हैं. So with this situation that's in front of us now, we're all seeing to what extent we are strong in ourselves, not just strong in ourselves, but to what extent we are something in ourselves. Means a lot of dependencies have been taken away from us. We're not allowed to go out. There's no social life as such anymore. Yes, there's social media, but not that doesn't replace a social life. And so what happens is we're seeing every single support fall down. It's being taken away somehow. And we're seeing to what extent we have become spiritually strong. This situation is, you can either see the beauty of it or you can see the opposite of it, that you find it very difficult. Some people would have found these situations very difficult, but also it's a time when I have no choice but to go inwards because I can't go out. I can't go out on external level. How much can you do out there in your home? How much can you do? So you have no choice but to go inwards.
When you say that we do not have a choice but to go inwards, many
Mm.
of us have taken this challenge very personally. Some
Yes.
of us have started learning meditation. Some of us
Mm.
have started doing yoga, some kind of physical fitness challenge, or some people took up cooking and whatnot. We've all become creative in the past few days.
Mm.
But over the period of time, when this gradually the period of lockdown increased, and when the governments
Mm.
have advised us to stay home,
Mm.
this question lingers on in our minds. Till when? When will things go back to normal? And one of our friends who has joined us on the show,
Mm.
Himanshu. from he's watching the show on YouTube, and he's asking this question. It is very easy to sit in a calm place and talk about changing the world, isn't it? I understand, Himanshu. I understand what you mean to say. But the sole purpose of doing this program is about um, to create that place of calm, or what we think about and what we are feeling. And we wanted to have this platform where you could speak to us and you could ask questions at whatever you feel. And that is the reason we have our masters of meditation who have applied meditation also in their lives during those times. To all of our friends who have joined in, they can all ask questions. So this is a live program, so you can type in your questions in the comment section of this video, either on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever you're watching, and we'll pick up those comments from there, and those questions will be asked to Indu Didi, who will guide us through. So Indu, when the first question that has come in is about Himanshu, and he points out what many people think is obvious. What do you have to say to him, where he says that it is very easy to sit in a place of calm, in a place of calm, and talk about changing the world? And he says that he says that, sir, I'm very young and I am stressed. So please guide. What would you like to say to him?
Okay. My question to Himanshu is, were you young and stressed before the lockdown as well? So you're saying now that we're sitting in a calm place and it's easy to talk. But this calm hasn't just come like that. It hasn't just happened. It has been created. We create our own atmosphere. I will say another sentence in Hindi, and I hope you understand. Tadi Chanki once said to us how an atmosphere is created, and the words she used were very beautiful. She said, Vatavaran banta hai vartalap se. Means the atmosphere is created through our conversation. If I'm in a studio flat, if I'm in a place of stress, if I'm at work, if I'm at home, doesn't matter where I am, I create my own atmosphere. My thoughts create a vibration, and that vibration then comes into the atmosphere. Like, for example, if I somehow by accident drop some bleach, and I know I have guests coming, so I quickly clean up the bleach. I quickly wipe it all away. And the guests will come in and they will say, oh, I can smell bleach, I can smell bleach. You say, oh, no, there's no bleach here. But it's gone into the atmosphere. And even sometimes people who smoke, before they enter a meeting or something, they'll spray here so that people can't smell the smoke on them. But it overrides, that smell of smoke overrides even the fragrance. And so whatever I do goes into the atmosphere. One thing we should have fixed in our minds, we should understand what area of our life thoughts have an impact on. The first area of my life that thoughts impact is my mood. Second is my body. Third is the atmosphere. And fourth is relationships. These are the only 4 areas of my life that my thoughts have an impact on. My thoughts influence these 4. So yes, I understand you're young and stressed. Young is good, you're very lucky. Stressed, when it comes to stressed, then that stress, the physical stress, is a signal for me to do something about my thinking, because that is where the stress is happening. The stress is in the mind. And so what is stress? Stress is thoughts at a very fast speed, plus there's a deadline. That's what stress is. You have to get certain things done by a particular time, and your thoughts are going very, very fast. You're not able to control your thoughts. And because you're not able to control your thoughts, you're not going to be able to control anything around you. So the first thing is to learn to slow down the thoughts if I want to overcome stress. It's a paradox actually that to overcome stress, I need to slow down my thoughts. Is that answer okay, or shall I elaborate more?
I think that answers your question, Himanshu. And there's a little bit that he has added to his question, and I would just read it out to you. And he says that I feel like I should go and earn in society, or sometimes I just feel like I should go and sit somewhere far, far away.
Don't run away. Don't avoid situations because that then becomes a habit. Firstly, don't allow your mind to be disturbed. Because if the mind is disturbed, it's literally of no use. Of what use is a disturbed mind? So don't allow the mind to be disturbed and don't run away from the situation. We're going to face the situation, but we're going to prepare ourselves internally. We're going to do our homework and then face that situation. We're not going to run away. Raj Yoga doesn't mean running away and finding a calm situation. You will create your situation, you will create your atmosphere. And if you think that running away or going somewhere else will remove the problem, that problem will face you. That problem will chase you, not face you. It will chase you, but what will happen is it will come in a different form, but it will come again.
So there is no point really running anyway, and we all know that the problems are here, and we just have to
See,
be.
yeah, because even the government is saying, stay put, and and our soul, our inner being is also saying, stay put. Both are saying, stay put. The atmosphere of the world is saying, stay put. And my inner being is also asking, it's begging, stay put, go inside and see what treasures you have. You'll be surprised.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Induben, for that advice. I believe
Mm.
Himanshu will take benefit out of it. The next question comes from Jyoti, and
Mm.
Jyoti is watching this program on YouTube, and she asks this question. I didn't have any siblings to play with, so I used to play alone, talking to myself. But now I realize that I talk too much to myself in my mind, and it is making my mind tired, and how to stop the inner chatter.
Jyoti, you're very lucky in one aspect, and that is that you know that there's an inner voice. You can hear that inner voice. Many people don't acknowledge that there's a voice inside which is talking. But the funniest thing is, the conversation that is happening is like it's not that there's two people. There's one entity, and that one entity it's speaking on for both sides. So if you see what I'm trying to say, like for example, you're sitting in traffic and you remember something. Oh, I was supposed to call so and so. Oh God, I forgot. How could I have forgotten? Maybe I should call him later. This, da, 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 da. So the chatter is non-stop. And what happens is that that chatter is non-stop, but we're not understanding where the chatter is happening. It's happening in the mind, but we don't understand the mind. Somebody said to me 2 days ago, the mind is very complex, and she was going through a lot of issues mentally. So she said these words, the mind is very complex. I said, actually, the mind is very simple to understand. How is it simple to understand? The way I treat my mind, it has to be the same as I would treat a baby. See, what does a baby want? A baby wants food, a baby wants sleep, and a baby wants potty, and a baby wants to be, played with. It wants to play with something. So, am I providing these things to my mind? Because that's all the mind wants. The mind needs nourishing food, and food for the mind is thoughts. That is the food that we give to the mind. But what is the quality of thoughts that I am providing to my mind? I means I, the being, because look at what we're all called. We're called a human being. Because we're called human being, the human needs to be tended to first. What does the human need? Shelter, warmth, and food. So when you have these three, then only can you look inside, means look within, turn towards the being. If I don't have these three, if I don't have warmth, if I don't have food, if I don't have shelter, then, and I'm looking within, the being is going to cry. The being is, it's not in comfort. It's like if I'm cold, will I be able to connect with myself? If I'm hungry, will I be interested in spirituality? Like Himanshu just said before this question, it's easy to be in lockdown when you're in a calm place. So yes, attend to the physical first. Then the physical is attended to. But the being isn't happy just because I have clothing, I have a nice house, I have car, I have 2.5 kids. That doesn't make the being happy. The being needs something more. And the being needs good quality, nourishing thoughts. Doesn't matter if they're repetitive, so long as they are nourishing. And for meditation, I always give 3 thoughts. We need to know the ABC of meditation. So the ABC of meditation is I am a peaceful soul. I am a being of light. And I am pure consciousness. These 3 thoughts are food for the mind. It's nourishing food. But I need to have these thoughts slowly. Look at the difference. I'm going to do an experiment in front of you. A. Okay, this is A, what the experiment. See which one you prefer, A or B. I'm a peaceful soul, I'm a point of light, I'm pure consciousness, I'm a peaceful soul, I'm a point of light, I'm pure consciousness, I'm a peaceful soul, I'm a point of light, I'm pure consciousness. That's A. Now, B. I am a peaceful soul. I am pure. I am a being of light. I am pure consciousness. Same thoughts. I didn't change the thoughts. Same thoughts. What was the difference? And which one did you prefer? Jyoti, which one did you prefer? So
I believe Jyoti would have chosen the second option, the
B.
slower option, the B option.
So, like Himanshu said, he's stressed, and I said to slow down the thoughts. Now, you might think, well, how can I slow down my thoughts? Very easy, actually. Firstly, I need the understanding that I am the driver. So it's in the driver's control whether to go fast or slow. So the being that resides in front of the brain, being and brain are separate. The soul and brain are separate. So the being is in front of the brain in the center of the forehead between these eyes, and it is the driver. So, firstly, I need to be aware that I am the driver. I have the accelerator, the brakes, it's all in my hands. So, I can control my thoughts. But it's good that you're aware of your thoughts. Somebody said to me, because in spirituality we talk about being detached. And so they said to me, I'd never heard this question before. So she said, how detached, how much detached should I be? So I said, I'm not understanding your question. And so she said, look, should I be this much detached, or this much detached, or this much detached, or this much detached? I said, oh, okay, that's a very interesting question. And so I said, step back as far as possible from your inner thoughts. Means the conversation that's happening, like she said, it's too much for her, it tires her out. So step back as far as possible from that conversation and then watch that conversation. That is detachment. You step back from it. And then you can change the conversation to one where you don't get tired. Like I gave an experiment. Slow down your thoughts. Be that master. Attain self mastery by taking control of the wheel and also of the accelerator.
Very
So I hope that
beautifully.
answers your question, Jyoti.
Yeah, I do. I believe that many of us forget that we are in control. We think
Mm,
that things just happen to us and this is what our mind does to me. But maybe taking that control is important, and doing
mm.
consciously slowing down our thoughts will help. I'll take the next question. Again, this question comes from YouTube. Abhishek is watching us on YouTube, and he says, I am a student of chartered accountancy. He's preparing for CA, and he says, I am not able to be consistent and focused in my studies at all. Can you please guide me, Didi?
The subject you've taken is a very tough one. And we take these subjects and we don't realize how tough that they actually will be. But the other thing is that due to whatever reason, our mind also becomes a little weak. Consistency will happen, means that focus that you're aiming for will happen when I first give a little attention to myself. So before focusing on your studies, focus on yourself first. And by that, I don't mean give hours to yourself. You don't have that kind of time, especially if you have to prepare your own food, you have to do washing, ironing, all these kind of things. So you've got all the other stuff to think of as well. And friends are an attraction. Social media is time gets spent there. But a few minutes, quality time. By quality time, I mean 5 minutes even, in where your thoughts are slow and you are feeding the mind good stuff. You're making the mind healthy, then that healthy mind will help you to be consistent in your studies. And I know that when we're studying at uni, a lot of attention, a lot of brain is used in this, and it becomes draining at times. And you think, is it worth it? Shall I drop out? Shall I take a gap here? All of these thoughts come. But like I said to Himanshu, don't run away. Don't avoid, because that's what's happening. The inconsistency is I am being attracted or distracted elsewhere. And so the thought to go other places and forget my study. And that also doesn't help us in the long run. It might help us that day or that week, but it doesn't help us in the long run. And the other problem with inconsistency is it becomes a sanskar, it becomes a habit. So stick to it, use your willpower. See, we all have willpower. We have willpower on a mental level, on an emotional level, and on a physical level. For example, if somebody has arthritis, their body is in pain, but they want to go somewhere. They want to go to another room, another house, somewhere. So they will use their willpower for their physical body and they will go somewhere. Like I've seen people who have cancer and they want to go to the meditation center, they want to go and meet somebody, they will go. There's that determination, there's that thought, I want to go. We all have a will. And so you also have that. There is willpower, and that will give you the consistency that you require in your study.
Very beautifully said, I believe. Abhishek, that answers your question. I take the next question. This comes from Facebook, and our viewer is Ananya. And Ananya says, what should be one's post retirement plan so that they won't be frustrated? She says, as my father is suffering from low feeling after his retirement from a government job. And I believe this is a very bad time to get into retirement, but yes, you retire when you retire.
Mm. Okay, so from a university student, we're now going to post retirement. Okay, what happens is our job, our career, occupies a big chunk of our life. It occupies a lot of headspace as well. So, every day there's a structure to our day. Get up, have breakfast, go to work, all the challenges at work, come home, you're tired, all of that. So now that structure has been taken away. That structure no longer exists. And so you have all these hours in which you don't know what to do. You might have a few hobbies, you might have few friends, and yes, it's fine. But that challenge of work, that some people thrive on work, on that hustle and bustle and whatever. And so, yes, take up some activities in which you're interacting with people, learn something new, and also take up, see, meditation is not boring. A lot of people think meditation is boring. How long can you sit for? Meditation, yes, you do sit and meditate, but the rest of the time you have to do your activities, your work. And so, post retirement or retirement, at least that sounds good. There are some people now in lockdown who've lost their job completely. So, with post retirement, at least there's not the worry of having to find another job. You've done your whatever. In redundancy, there's tension, there's stress of having to find another job. And so, in post retirement, what I would suggest is there are certain skills people have. And I feel that those skills are not being passed down. It's like even mothers, you're talking about somebody who's in a government job. I even see mothers, matajis, who are old in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they have so much expertise in certain areas, like in cooking and what, this, that, the other. And I feel it's not being passed down. And so, whatever skills your father has, whatever specialities he has, make sure that they become a legacy. Means they're passed down to family members, not just to family members, friends also. What did you learn? The other thing your father can do, if he wants to, write a book. A lot of people go to writing, journaling. A lot of these things are very fashionable these days also. Write your life story, write your biography, and write, the word in Hindi is kisse, like things that have happened, entertaining things, or where you've, learned something. And like, certain people were born in Pakistan. They have experiences which they've never ever shared. It makes them emotional. But it's like when they die, then those things also go with them. It's not left behind for the next generation to read or study or learn from. And so it's like that's what makes it sad that it wasn't passed down. So it's Jyotina who asked the question.
Yep. Yeah, it is
Jyoti.
Ananya.
Oh,
Ananya.
Ananya. Sorry, Ananya. Huh? So, yes, that your father's retired, but it's like he has a chance. Always use this word, I have a chance and I have a choice. Because what we feel is that we don't have choices. So, you mean you're retired, so you don't have a choice. But we have chances, we have opportunities to learn something new.
Very beautifully said, I believe. Sometimes I have often heard from people who have retired, they always call it second innings in the match. So it's like one innings is over, this is a new inning, so you should start doing that. I would like to take the next question. Next question comes from YouTube, and Kirti is asking this question. Kirti says, how to be more non-judgmental when we see different kind of behavior in the same person. And I believe this is something that we have experienced during the lockdown, that sometimes kids telling to their fathers, saying that, dad, you were not like this before, what happened to you in 3 months? You have altogether become a different person. You are more angry, you shout on us. So these
Mm.
things happen. So she's asking that how should we treat when we see different behaviors in the same person, how to be non-judgmental.
This question is a good one. It's what happens is if you ask this question on a worldly level, then the answer you will get always somewhere that word acceptance will be there. That you have to accept people as they are. Don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know other people's life story. You haven't walked in their shoes. You'll get these kind of answers. Instead of being judgmental, there's something else, and that is higher than acceptance and all of that, and that is appreciation. Accepting happens because I have no choice. Like, for example, if somebody has cancer, they have to accept it. They don't have a choice. You can say to somebody, oh, you have to, accept it, but they have no choice. They will accept it. But higher than acceptance is appreciation. Appreciate what that situation, what that problem, what that issue is going to teach you. Because any issue will do one of two things. Either it will make you bitter, makes you a bitter person, or it will make you a better person. So look at these two things. That through this situation, be it lockdown, be it whatever, am I becoming bitter or am I becoming better? Judgmental is actually a habit. It means I'm not appreciating uniqueness because everyone is unique. Who am I judging? You're always judging people. You're not judging a car or judging uh, a book or something. They're not going to reciprocate. They don't have feelings. So they don't care if you judge them or not. Like a car, if you say it's ugly, it doesn't care. It's not bothered. It's fine. Your problem. The car is ugly is your problem. But when we judge people, then what happens? Many things are happening in this. The dynamics are A, you are creating karma. Your negative judgment is a creation of karma. Your judging nature becomes a sanskar as well. It becomes a habit which becomes a sanskar, and a sanskar means you do it automatically. A sanskar means you bypass the intellect. So there's the thought, and then the sanskar is created. You're bypassing thinking about it. It's just automatic. As soon as you see someone, you see their outfit, you judge them, you see what they're doing, you judge them, the way they're doing things, you judge them. And the backlash of that is when somebody judges us, we don't like it. But we're so easily pointing fingers at others, judging others, criticizing others also. In judgmental, it's like I have a critical eye, a critical nature, and I'm always pointing out things. So, judgmental, I would not say is healthy. It's not healthy for the mind.
So once you understand that it is not healthy for you, the best thing for you is to leave that habit, to pick up something healthier. I think.
No, make it positive. You're judgmental, see if you can make it constructive. That if you have to give an opinion, or if you have to, see if the person who you're judging is going to take on board your opinion. And sometimes they don't take on board our opinion. And so at that time, don't give your opinion. Our opinion is valuable. If I value myself, I will value my opinion. And so it's not that I just give my opinion anyhow, anywhere, and then I think, oh, so and so didn't use my opinion, and I get hurt. I've asked for it, basically. I've asked for that upset and hurt because I've given my opinion where they didn't want it. So be careful where you give it and make sure it's constructive. Your opinion, it's constructive.
So even though you're judging, even though you're using the power to see something, but look positive in it and try to be more positive and constructive in terms of giving that opinion. The next question comes from Facebook and our friend Jaid Bello. And the question is, Om Shanti, I have a serious addiction problem and it is ruining my life gradually. I have tried to stop for over 8 years now, but I have not been able to do so. Please guide.
Okay. The problem with any addiction, doesn't matter what it is, substance addiction or whatever, is that it makes the soul weak. Any form of dependency will make us weak. And so, one is congratulations that you've acknowledged that there is an addiction problem. That is the biggest step. I see so many people, they're addicted to something, but they don't acknowledge it. Second is, there's the thought that you want to overcome it. I've recognized it, and now there is the thought, the desire to overcome it. Now, all that you need is something that's already there, is willpower. The willpower is there. It just needs to be activated, and you will overcome the addiction. Maybe I can't do it myself. Many addictions, it's very difficult to overcome them by ourselves. However, there is one support that I can take, and that support is a reliable support. That support is someone who will give not someone, but a power that's going to give me strength. I need the strength to overcome it, and I also need to replace that addiction, because that addiction is taking up space, it's taking up, means it's giving us something to do. Like sometimes I think I drink tea just for the sake of something to do. And our addictions happen gradually. They're not just like that. So, yes, I can overcome the addiction, but I have to take power from above. And we all know what I'm talking about when I say above. The soul has the ability, because the soul is like a sponge, the soul has the ability to absorb anything. You can absorb negativity, you can absorb judgmental, you can absorb criticism, we can absorb anything. The soul does absorb. See, two things are there. Either you are absorbing or you are observing. So, what is it that I need to observe and what is it that I need to absorb? Do I need to absorb other people's negativity? I don't. Because if I do, the damage is to myself. So, you can absorb God's power. I need to give a little time to get to know God. Means what's his name, where he is, what does he do,
I think we have a small.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
please do.
you're with me.
Yeah, yeah.
So qualities and qualifications are different. If you go for a job interview, they only want to know your qualifications. They're not interested in your qualities. What qualifications do you have to do this job? And then we use qualities in interaction. So this addiction, whatever addiction it is, I need strength.
I believe there is some issues with the transmission when we would join back to Sister Indush when she comes back with the video stream. There could be some internet connections as well. Many of you friends have asked very beautiful questions today, and some of you have also um, some of you have also been very kind enough and smart enough to answer to some of the questions that our friends have asked. And it indeed creates a beautiful connection here. The sole purpose of doing Be the Change was to bring in questions that we have and to find answers. And like we have understood that over the period of time, we have collectively tried to help each other. Not just the Brahma Kumaris, but you friends have also reached out to friends who have asked questions, because I've seen so many times that there are questions that we are unable to answer, sometimes because of the shortage of time, sometimes because of many other reasons where we cannot take all of the questions. But over the past few days, I have seen on the Facebook posts, also on YouTube, where many people are watching this program, where our own viewers answer to the questions of our friends, which is very encouraging to see. It is a very positive thing that we get to see, and I'm very happy, and I'm indeed very proud that all of us have joined hands together, try to help each other with new things, with solutions, and what we think about could be a possible solution for a problem. Many of our friends have also asked questions, which have come in over a period of time, where we have tried to collate those questions and bring those answers to you. In the meanwhile, where you ask your questions in the comment section of this video, either on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever, some of you might also want to ask private questions, questions which are private in nature, where you might not want to reveal your name, where you would want to keep your identity secret. You can ask those questions on an email. You can write to us at socialmedia@brahmakumaris.com. So if you ask those questions at that email address, we will make sure that your name is held private, and your question would still be asked. Sister Indu is back with us, so I would ask her to please continue. Indu Didi. I think I would like to point out to a next question that we have. Many of our
Okay.
friends have asked, Induben, sorry, there is an interruption, I believe. Please continue with the answer.
Okay. I just want to, this addiction thing is when it comes to an addiction, I always need outside help. I need external help somehow. But first, I need a connection with God, and I need to say to God with a true heart that I am at your mercy. I am surrendering myself to you. You have to help me. You're my Father. You have to show me a better way. And so it requires self surrender, it requires external help. And yes, it's a it's a big thing to overcome an addiction. But there has to be the desire that I want to be a stronger person and a better person.
Thank you so much, and I believe many people who are dealing with different kinds of addiction nowadays might find solace in this. That it is important to seek for help, and like it is said, when you ask, help also comes to you, and when you ask help from God, indeed, God also helps you if you are open enough to receive that help. The
There's a
next question,
saying,
yeah.
there's a saying, God helps those who help themselves. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying. God helps those who help themselves. And so, yes, help yourself and connect with God.
Indeed. I believe the next question comes something which is related to what we're talking about right now when you spoke about God. Arav is a friend who is joining us on Facebook, and he asks this question. He says, I am confused between God and subconscious mind. Somebody said that you can get everything by using your own subconscious mind. Then where is God and what are God's powers? What does he do? Please differentiate between them.
Okay, it's a very deep question. Now, firstly, there's a difference between consciousness. Then, within consciousness, there is my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. And then within that, there is also something called my conscience. So we're looking at three different things. I, the soul, I am pure consciousness. Within that, there's a conscious mind and the subconscious. And then there's my conscience, means what bites, where I feel guilty, all of these things. We are not going to look at the conscience right now. So I'm going to park that. I'm going to put that to one side. You're talking about the subconscious. Do you really understand what is the subconscious? Many of us have seen this image of there's an iceberg, 10% is our conscious mind, and 90% is our subconscious mind. I think many of us have seen that image of this iceberg. How do you understand what is happening in your subconscious mind? In our conscious mind, like Jyoti has said, Ananya has said, there's thoughts, what you're aware of. Your thoughts are too fast, or your thinking makes you tired. All of that is happening in our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is compared to a store. In our house,
I believe again we do have some connection issues that we are facing from Sister Indu's side, and Sister Indu has joined us from the UK. So we would wait for her to join in. In the meanwhile, I would like to read some of the comments that our friends have written. Some of you have appreciated the program. Thank you so much. And some of you have also sent in and given us shout outs, which is very nice to listen to. And I'm just reading out a few of the comments that our friends have written. Ravi Chandran says, I listen to your discourse daily. I believe Sister Indu is back. So Didi, please
sorry,
continue.
sorry. Okay. So I was at where we have a subconscious. Our subconscious is equal to a storage. In our house, when somebody comes to visit, we'll show them the bedroom, we'll show them the garden, we'll show them our sitting room, we might even show them our kitchen. But how many of us show the store in our house? Very, very few. And what's the reason for that? Because in our store, there is clutter. There are things which don't even work, machines which are put back and they might be useful one day. There's things which are out of date. There's things which we think, oh, I'll use it one day. We think that we'll make use of it. And there's a lot of rubbish there. Things from maybe which have sentimental value. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, all of these things are in our store. When I'm telling you this, I'm getting to something, right? I'm trying to make it clear what is subconscious. Our subconscious is like that. We are holding a lot of stuff. And the subconscious, every now and then, needs a clear out. It needs to be cleared. We're holding hurts from the past. We're holding dirt, any storage, where the storage you'll see, there's also a lot of dirt. So the soul, the being, is holding all of these things. The hurt, the dirt, the baggage, the rubbish, the unnecessary stuff, the memories, the habits, the values, all sorts of stuff is there in our subconscious. In Hindi, the word for subconscious would be sanskars. And we have 5 different sets of sanskars, which I will not go into. Subconscious and God are 2 different things. Subconscious is part of our conscious. Subconscious is part of it. It's a chunk of it. God is very separate to our subconscious. I can remember God. I can use my consciousness to reach God. But God has nothing to do with my subconsciousness. Subconsciousness is a very deep subject, and it will take a while to understand these things. So I don't know. I feel that I've not made the person, I don't know if they've understood what I'm trying to say when it comes to God and subconscious, and they're confused. But that much I will say is they are 2 separate things.
Thank you so much, Sister Indu. I think we are running short of time, and we
are
will
running
take
short of time.
one more question, the last question for today. And I'm clubbing 2 questions. Yashwardhan Sharma, he has joined us on YouTube, and he asks this question that when is this COVID thing going to end? I believe many people would be having this question, and I have one more question that I'd like to club with it. And Radha Joshi asks a question which is very similar to what you were just now saying about subconsciousness. She says that, Om Shanti, I'm not able to forget an event in the past where someone made me behave in a wrong manner. How do I forget it and forgive myself for doing it? Because you said about making mistakes and not being able to forgive, and it stays in the subconscious. So this is a question related to subconscious, and Yashwardhan asking a question about the COVID thing ending.
Okay. When it comes to the COVID thing, the answer is actually easier than the other question. So I don't have a crystal ball to predict when COVID will end. And believe me, I would like it to end fast also, because there's things that we want to do. But really, I can't say when it will end. Could be in August. We don't know when a vaccine is going to be, created or whatever. So really, our patience is being tested. That we have to stay put. We just have to. For our own sake and for the sake of others. That's one answer. the other question that's there, that how can I forget and forgive? This word forgive is such a beautiful word. Why is it such a beautiful word? Because it tells us the purpose of life. The purpose of our life is for giving, to give. And we always think when it comes to giving, we have to give to others. We forget we have to also give to ourselves. And when I forgive, then I will get something. The forget, until I don't give, I won't get. And so forgiving the self, that, see, what happens is, okay, I've learned from the situation. I've learned my lesson. Then I need to move on. If I haven't learned from it, then it'll be difficult to move on. It'll keep playing on my mind. So learn and then let go. And the third thing is let God. 3 things. Learn, let go, let God take over. Take over, and so then you feel as if you're forgiven. If I'm just letting go, I find it difficult to let go. But what's more difficult than letting go is holding on. Because if you're not letting go, what are you doing? You're holding on. And holding on will cause me stress. Even if you're holding something very light, but you're holding it for 24 hours, I can hold a pen. Yeah, it's very light, but I'm holding it for 24 hours, 48 hours. It's going to cause stress. It's going to be a headache. Like for some people, holding their phone all day long it's a headache. And so letting go is for my benefit. If I don't let go, I'm going to suffer. And so learn whatever lesson needs to be learned from that situation. It's made you better or it's made you bitter, and move on.
Thank you very much, Sister Indu, for saying those things. And I believe for all of us, it is important that to learn. And many of us have learned great lessons during the lockdown. And some of us were not prepared for it, but yet we are learning. And the second thing is about letting go and letting God. And I believe it sums up the entire episode beautifully about what we need to do during the times to come. And there are many questions that I could not ask today. We are really sorry, friends, but I'll try to take these questions for tomorrow. And thank you so much for letting your hearts open to us and asking questions which were very intimate. Some of you have felt it and you have so honestly opened up to us. And thank you very much for considering us as our friends and letting us into your world. And I thank you on all of your behalfs and all of our friends who have joined us today. I thank Sister Indu for joining us today all the way from United Kingdom and giving us such deep insights and giving solid answers so that our friends can follow on and stick on to doing something positive from today onwards. Thank you so much, Sister Indu, for joining.
Thank you for inviting.
Like every day, every master of meditation who joins us gives us an opportunity to meditate with them for a few minutes. And I would like to request Sister Indu to lead us through a meditation commentary for another 3-4 minutes of time that we have. And we would all like to meditate with you. Over to Sister Indu.
Like I said earlier, what's more important than quantity of thoughts is the quality of thoughts. Because within our thoughts, there are these 2 things, quantity and quality. But within our thoughts, there's something else also, and that is speed. Slow down your thoughts. Apply the brake. Slow down as much as possible. And then visualize. Use your awareness to visualize the soul the light, tiny point of light, a spark of light in the center of the forehead, behind these eyes, in front of the brain. I reside here. I am a peaceful soul. Peace is my true and original nature. I am peaceful. Let your soul, let the cells of your body feel that peace. It's not just a peace where there's an absence of sound, but a peace in which I, the soul, feel rested and feel calm. I am a being of light, tiny light, powerful light. I, the light, am eternal, immortal. I am also ageless. I, the soul, don't have an age. I am pure consciousness. I am peaceful. I am light. I am consciousness. I, the soul, have an eternal bond with the Supreme Soul. The Supreme is my Father, my teacher, my guide, my Supreme Surgeon. I am light. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Thank you.